This is Jonathan Agra, here for Pro Boxing fans here at the Marshall Herman's press conference, joined by Adam Morallee. Adam, another big fight for Florian Marku against Chris Jenkins. Talk us through it.
Yeah, hi John. I think it's a real step up for Florin this fight. I think his opponent, Chris Jenkins, is someone who has operated at very good levels. I think Florin wins this fight and shows he's at least at British level. Chris just fought Julius Ndongo, but as he very honestly said in the press conference, he thinks Julius Ndongo is a little bit past his best. I think Chris is a really, really good test for Florian, and I want people to see the levels that Florian can reach. People say Florian's, all mouth, great promoter, isn't a great boxer. He's now trained by Grant Smith, and I think what you'll see is, building on the work of Clifton Mitchell, building on the work of Don Charles, you'll see what Florian can provide.
Chris obviously had a good win last time out against Julius Ndongo, so therefore can't be overlooked. But Ben Shalom's saying possible fight against Amir Khan. Any discussions about that?
Yeah, look, we never want to overlook any opponent. I mean, Chris Jenkins is a very, very decent boxer. But looking at Florian's career generally and next steps in Florian's career, yeah, absolutely, Amir Khan is a great fight. I mean, that is two great talkers, obviously at different stages of their career. Let's be honest about it. Amir Khan's former world champion, achieved incredible things, an absolute legend of the sport in the UK. Florian Marku isn't that. Florian Marku is a big talker, pay-per-view star in the making. And I think of Florian against Amir Khan as a bit of a David Havey, Tony Bellew, actually. I know you might say I would say that, wouldn't I? But you've got David, a former world champion, coming back. Same as Amir, and then you've got Tony Bellew. To be fair to Tony I think by that time was a cruiserweight world champion, but someone who was made for pay-per-view. The chemistry between David and Tony was there. I think the chemistry would be there between Florian and Amir Khan. I mean, people will want to watch that fight. I'm sure they'll moan about it. I'm sure they'd say, why does Florian Marku deserve that chance? Florian Marku for Amir Khan is a pay-per-view fight in the realest sense of that word.
So has there been any sort of preliminary discussions or initial conversations about that fight?
I've spoken to Sky and Ben Shalom about it, and I know Ben Shalom's spoken about it, but I've not approached Amir Khan's management team. I wouldn't do that. It's inappropriate. We've got to fight Chris Jenkins. So I'm not planning Florian's next fight until we deal with this fight and we see what happens in this fight. Who knows what could happen? But after this fight, yeah, it's absolutely... I mean, Sky are in the business of entertainment. Ben Shalom is as well. They want to make the best fights. Sky and Ben Shalom at Boxer are a really growing promotional company. They had an incredible February. They've got a good March and April. But they want to make bigger and bigger and better fights. And what better fight than Amir Khan, Florian Marku?
As a sort of just want to delve into sort of your role as a manager, when you look at the SJAM stable, you've got obviously Florin with Boxer, Joe and Tommy Fletcher with Frank, and Eddie Hearn with John Hedges and Johnny Fisher. How does it sort of work in, choosing which promoter is best, because you kind of work with all of them?
Yeah, and we've got Guido with Top Rank as well. So we do work with all of them. I think that's very important as a management company. I think over the years, some management companies have tended to work with one promoter only. And I think in that scenario, the boxer can be thinking, well, not what's the point of view necessarily, because there's lots of points to being a manager in terms of arranging things. But at that start of the boxer's career, when they're choosing which promoter to go with, that manager should be talking to them all. So yeah, we do talk to them all, and I think sometimes, I'm probably not Eddie Hearn's favourite. I can assure you I'm not Eddie Matchroom's favourite. I'm probably not Frank Warren's favourite, and I'm definitely not Ben Shalom's favourite. He just told me so. So, although I might not be the favourite of those people, we will examine the whole market, and I think that's very important for a management company to do that, to actually do that. And I think there are other great managers out there, but I'd like to think we are one of those good management companies that talk to everybody.
Obviously, SJAM's changed slightly with Sam Jones moving to Probellum and Shane Watson's assumed his role. How has it changed from your perspective?
Yeah, look, Sam was my business partner and sold out of his shares to me. So, that's that makes a difference from both a work standpoint, as in replacing the work, but also I lost a business partner. From a work standpoint, Shane and Sam are very different. Shane does more actual day-to-day work, day-to-day graft, I'd call it. But Sam had a different kind of force, which Shane's growing into, doing interviews, bringing in fighters, attracting fighters. And Sam's a special guy doing brilliantly at Pro Bellum. I think within SJAM, it was always me that wanted to sign less fighters and Sam wanted to grow more. So when Sam left, I was thinking with Shane that we'd probably sign less boxers, but still, we do have a lot of boxers approach us, which we're very thankful for. But we might be signing a few more boxers. We may well be signing a few more boxers. Some news coming soon, and I'm talking to promoters about those boxers. So it is quite exciting, but I think SJAM should remain a boutique place without too many people in it.
Was it strange at the beginning without Sam? Obviously, Sam's really sort of accommodating to the media, always sort of praising his fighters and getting behind them. Was it strange at the beginning?
Very strange. I mean, I speak to Sam 8 times a day, and it was strange not to speak to him anymore. And we still obviously do speak. I spoke to him a couple of days ago. I see with Pro Bellum he's now giving press conferences. He's doing brilliantly there. So we do speak, but it's different. Like I spoke to him more than I spoke to my wife.
Adam, Joe Joyce, what update can you tell us? Here is the main man.
The best guy.
So Joe Joyce, rumours of obviously a Joseph Parker fight. What update can you give us?
Not done. Joyce Parker not done. It's something that we've been very clear about that we've wanted for Joe. Joe wants to fight the best. It's this time of his career where he's got to fight the best. We're not hiding from any fights. Unfortunately, Joe had an injury in December where he broke his arm, which is well known, and he's coming back from that. Otherwise, he would have fought in February. Now, the opponent he would have fought in February wouldn't have been Joe Parker. But now that fight's gone, we have to go for the big fights, and Joe Parker's the fight we want. We're trying to make it. I've been speaking to David Higgins, speaking to Frank Warren. Frank Warren's been speaking to Joe Parker. We want to make it. Fingers crossed we make it, but it's not made yet.
Is Joe in a bit of a difficult position when it's kind of, to me, it looks like kind of the welterweight picture where you've got Errol Spence with the belts and everyone wants to see the Terence Crawford fight if he was to beat Ugas. Here you have Joe in a great position, but if, say, Joshua's to beat Usyk, or even if Usyk wins again, people may want to see the undisputed fight. So
Undisputed's going to happen. I think we're very realistic with Joe. This year, he's got to fight the best people he can. I mean, look, Joe's got a decision, and we as his management have got a decision. We can sit here, hold on to the number one spot, fight people who aren't at Joe's level, make sure we win, take relatively half-decent money, and wait until Undisputed happens, and whoever wins Undisputed, for the sake of argument, let's say Tyson Fury, vacates. At that moment, the belts become free, and number one can fight number two, or the WBO will order whatever they order. We've got that option, but we don't want to take that option. Joe wants to remain active, and a fight against Joe Parker, for example, is WBO 1v2. I think the public would love that fight. I think it would sell out a kind of Wembley Arena style arena. I think it's a pay-per-view fight. And ultimately, as a heavyweight, you've got to be in entertaining fights. I think once that happens, I think Undisputed will happen towards the end of the year. So Joe's not going to get a world title shot. But 2023, if he's beaten a Joe Parker, let's say he's beaten an Andy Ruiz as well, 2023, Joe deserves his world title shot, and he will get it.
Is Parker Joyce, can it be made without pay-per-view? Obviously, both big names, both well known in the UK. Is it possible for that fight? You said you think it is a pay-per-view, but could it be made without it?
I think it could be made. I think you have to ask David Higgins and Joe Parker about that, exactly what they want. I think it could be made without pay-per-view, but I think it is worthy of pay-per-view. Joe Parker's very well known in the UK, boxed a lot in the UK, boxed Anthony Joshua, boxed Dillian White. So I think it is a pay-per-view fight. So I think it's possible. I mean, look, Joe Parker and Joe Joyce aren't taking Anthony Joshua Fury style money for this fight. Let's be real here. but still, I think it is pay-per-view worthy. I think it does enough to merit that.
And just a couple updates on your stable. Johnny Fisher suffering an injury, I believe. How is he?
Yeah, Johnny's fine. I mean, listen, Johnny's in the gym every day. Johnny's beating everyone else in the gym at runs, at fitness. He is not stopping. He does have a fracture in his right hand, and we're trying to get him to stop doing things. But he's just got to rest. He's got to rest it, and the fracture will get better, and he'll hopefully be out in the summer.
And John Hedges?
Yeah, John Hedges out soon. John Hedges out soon. First stoppage last time he was out. Had a nice break in Mexico, and he'll be out soon. News coming soon.
Great stuff. Adam, appreciate your time.